Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, we're on. I was being such a goofball. I'm sitting here staring at the deer. They're running around in the front yard. They're so darn cute. It looks like we have a little baby buck and they were chasing each other. It was so cute. And I was just sitting there kind of watching. Sorry. So here we are. Here we are. Yay, we made it. We're all here. Miss K Heads, congratulations on being number one. Jen and the Birds. I'm always just going to remember that name because it sounds so cool. Awesome sauce. And Ray is in the house. Miss Christine Love, good to see you. I hope that little four-legged earth angel is doing good with you. Miss Regina, hello. Miss Lily Blade, hi. Sin Havoc, Saturday night. Yes, we're here. Party at EEARTS YT show. Hi, Joey. Good to see you. Joey from Tucson. Nice. I do love that, Arizona. Running the gauntlet. It's good to see you. Hello. Hope everyone is having it's quite an energetic weekend. There's a lot of very high energy, and the earth is showing that, isn't she?
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on. I hope everybody is enjoying their weekend. We're gonna start over here. You have a fire, a massive blaze broke out Saturday afternoon at the Marine Science Lab at the University of South Florida's St. Petersburg campus. Crews were filmed working to contain the blaze as it tore through the building. We don't know what was lost yet. Pretty good sized fire, was an accident or did somebody actually set it? You always have to wonder in these days. There's been just so much craziness all around.
It has been, and the earth shows it locally. It's showing it. The Schumann is showing it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's been absolutely bonkers out there. And then we have this. We have an eruption ongoing with thick ash, hot gases moving down the slopes of Mayon volcano. This is in Luzon in the Philippines. Again, the Philippines are a lot of islands. I forget what the actual number is. It's in the thousands. Literally thousands of islands making up the Philippines. Of course, part of the Ring of Fire. And a very, very active place for pretty much everything. Volcanoes, earthquakes, they get cyclones. They kind of get it all. And they even have their own version of a Bigfoot as well. Fascinating to look at all the interesting mythologies. I love mythologies, and I certainly love cryptids and all the cryptozoological beings. There's so much stuff coming out of the woodwork, guys. Now with AI, and this swarm is still ongoing. We were talking about this in the last live, and honestly, the days are all blending together. We've been just working so hard on the chicken coop. The chickens are ready to spring the coop. These girls are pretty darn big right now, and they can't wait to get into a bigger space. And we just did the second roof for the run. So we're closing in on it, and then we'll show you guys how it came out. It's been a lot of work. Definitely a labor of love, and it's taken many hours and a lot of our focus. But we also have a lot of stuff growing, and man, it's all looking good so far. Lots of stuff going to be coming in to our own little homestead, the EEARTS homestead, the Evolutionary Energy Arts homestead.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do we'll definitely have to do an update for everyone with everything that we've got going out there.
Yeah, this particular time period has been extremely busy. I have a bunch of other projects that I'm going to be getting into. I got 2 I got a big greenhouse build coming. That'll be before we go into the next cold weather. We have a small little greenhouse right now, but I plan on making a much bigger one, and then have to outfit a shop out there, as well as need to build like a porch as well, something that we could utilize to grow a lot of things in as well.
I so wish I could turn this camera. So there's so many deer out there right now, and there's this one particular deer. He has the zoomies. I've never seen a deer with the zoomies. They're all usually very, very serious out here eating their corn.
He is.
But this is a little buck, and he's running back and forth through the little man-made lake that we have out in our front yard from the rains.
Oh my God, he's having a blast.
He is just zooming and zoom. I know he's got to feel all of our energy. I wish so badly we could just turn the camera, because I know you guys would absolutely love it. Mike's gonna try to get a picture of him.
Yeah,
He's so cute.
I'm starting
He's
to run
so
video.
cute. Oh my gosh.
Let's see if he's
Yeah.
gonna do it anymore.
Maybe
that
he'll.
we could show you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow.
It
He
would
is
be a
just
lot of
so
fun.
full of it.
There he goes. There he goes running through the lake. I've never seen his deer with zoomies.
So there's this, like, when we get a lot of rain, we end up with a pond in the front yard, and literally it gets to be pretty big. And I'm gonna have to do something about it, because it gets so big. At some point, we're gonna have to dig it out and build a wall around it. But yeah, this deer is just having a blast running through.
It was
and
cute.
enjoying
I'm
himself.
sorry for the segue, but I just had to share with you guys, because I was enjoying it on the side there for a minute. But he seems to have settled down now. The little fella. Yeah, he's super cute. Nope, there he goes again.
So yeah, seriously turning, and he's running through the neighbor's house now. This would have been a great one. Running the gauntlet, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you guys and all of your support. Yeah, we've just been working nonstop on getting this ready for everything that's coming, because it's going to be a bumpy road, but we're going to get through it.
We are going to get through it, and we'll get recentered, refocused, and be putting some new content and new lessons up on Patreon very soon.
Welcome, Joey from Tucson. We do love Arizona. We love New Mexico. We love every state's got its own, beautiful nuggets, great places, great people too. I've been blessed to be in, I think, 39 or 40 of the states. But we still have some to go and to add on to the list. And it's just wonderful to get out there and to meet people. Again, I think most people are actually inherently good. We all have our, devilish days at times. And, it's understandable that we're going through a lot as a culture, as a civilization at this point in time. It's been very, very stressful. When you look to the quakes, relatively calm. 5.7 is the biggest quake on Earth in the last 24 hours, according to the USGS. And then we have a 5.2 in Indonesia. Nothing too big at the moment, but we still do have that Nevada swarm, which a lot of people are wondering, what's going on there. I do think that there's going to be a lot more volcanic activity. And really, if we did have something like a VEI 7 happen somewhere around the Philippines, somewhere relatively close to the equator, then we really could be in a tough time as far as food production, because we would have that volcanic winter type of setting come in, and that would make things much more difficult to grow. And not that we don't have enough challenges now with the food supply.
Well, yeah, Sin Havoc, we did see that video where the drone was going through his backyard, watching what he's growing, and that's just something that's coming to everyone. And wouldn't this make it a lot harder, if we have these volcanoes going off and they're making it very, very difficult for us to grow food as it is, And then you have the drones coming in, and they're marking down every little harvest and every little piece of fruit that you have on a tree, and making you put a little barcode on it so that you scan it before you eat it. I mean, this world has just become ridiculous. It's just become horrible. And what do we do? What do we do about it? We can't just sit here on the sidelines, but I think the more that we know about it and the more that we talk about it, as long as we're not, spinning our tires and burning our own good energy wastefully, I think we can talk about it and come up with solutions of doing things. But yeah, it's a mess out there, and it could very well get worse, because this volcano, this is no small thing. This is a really, really big deal here, and it feels like it could be a much bigger deal soon.
Yeah, so again, when you have bigger eruptions, if we got up to a VEI 6 or 7, that could really start to impact the global weather, or even a series of smaller ones definitely can impact it. And the closer you are to the equator, the more disruptive it tends to have the potential to be. So we watch this carefully, and it feels like there is some major things brewing. I know this is going to be just every year seems to be out crazying the previous one. So pyroclastic flow disrupt traffic, prompted warnings from authorities. And, again, this one right here, right now, is pretty darn active. And we're wondering, are others going to be awakening? Well, let me go. There you go. The weekly volcanic activity report. So we have new activity unrest for 3 volcanoes in the past week. During the same period, ongoing activity was reported for 24. So that's 27 volcanoes going off right now all over the world. As far as new activity, Masaya in Nicaragua is now active as well. And then we have Poas in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, close to each other. And then Rincon de la Vieja in Costa Rica as well. So those 3, and now my own again, are coming active. It's something to make note of. It does feel like there's bigger things coming. There's weird activity up in the sky. Listen to this person. This is in Henderson, North Carolina. Know that area very well.
That roaring is thunder. I never heard steady thunder. Roaring.
It doesn't stop. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. I noticed this in Florida now about 7-8 years ago, occasionally, but not that constant. Just like when you would think it would be over, then it would keep going. There's changes afoot, big changes, and we love you guys in Rhode Island too.
Yes, hello there in Rhode Island. Good to see everybody in the house. I used to hear that sometimes out in the desert. Just the thunder wouldn't stop. It would roll on, and sometimes for hours. And it was just the strangest thing. But I had this little inkling here that I kind of feel when we do hear that and the thunder doesn't stop, I really feel that there's a ship involved, and I think they're charging. There's definitely something very abnormal to all, and I've also seen just pure lightning and then no thunder. So it's a very, very strange world out there. And look at the Schumann. I mean, this is a pretty strong Schumann. I don't know if you guys have felt wired tired, wired and tired. Just maybe you felt like uplifted. Maybe you've just wanted to take a nap. But that Schumann is definitely doing its, making its rounds.
So running the gauntlet, and then they were both saying that things don't taste right anymore. And yeah, I think tastes are changing. I think our whole makeup is changing. The guides literally said on a subatomic level, and we do know this does happen, like all the cells in your body change every so often. It depends on what we're talking about. If it's the stomach, that changes in just a matter of a few days. You have all new cells. If it's the brain or bones, it takes longer. But it's beyond that. The very ether that makes up the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, is changing. And we are going to a less dense existence. We could use a less dense existence, right?
I think that's a good one. That's good.
Yeah. And look at the Schumann here. So we have some pretty good whiteout conditions there as well. Again, the resonance is increasing. Everything is just amplifying. So many things. This is Mr. MBB again. This is in France. And when you look at some of these things that we're seeing, you see patterns. And I think that the patterns are kind of purposeful. I think that when you see something that you don't usually see, or it's not as common to see, what looks like 2 objects following each other very closely, or are they really one object? Again, it's hard to tell. They look pretty much like plasma or light itself. And here he's playing with the enhancements. It could almost remind you of elementals playing in some ways. But then when you see very similar things happening in other places, here you go. This is a totally different one. But, this is France as well. So maybe it's not a different one. Maybe it just appears different from a different angle.
Can you go back to the other one? Because the other one is in daytime, right? It looks like daylight.
Yeah, it is daylight.
That looks more like night.
So it would have, it's curious.
It's interesting.
And
there's no clouds there?
This one looks longer here.
Yeah. Yeah,
it looks like kind of like the Draco ships following something else.
Yeah, because if you look at the other one, it's like going through clouds, and there's no clouds on that one. There's like some sort of pollution, but there's no clouds. So that's two different things to me, I think.
And how about energetically? Can you distinguish between them?
Well, yeah. I mean, energetically, they feel different to me as well.
Okay. So when you look at it, this is a little bit more, cylindrical, and the other one is a little bit more round. Same thing as with this, but the energy feels different to you too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very curious. I mean, we have so much going on in the skies over our heads. There's definitely a purpose, and I do think it's really all about the awakening. There are, again, a lot of ultra-terrestrials out there that would love to see humans understanding what's been happening to them, because for the most part, most humans don't have a clue. Haven't had a clue at all as to what was going on planet Earth. Again, you still see a lot of people that believe the politicians are really making all the shots, that don't realize there's even another layer to government. But of course there's another layer. It's really, again, it's just one big illusion. So this is Mr. MBB again, seen across multiple states in one blinding second. The sky didn't gradually light up, it snapped bright like daylight for a split second. People across Northern California, Oregon, Washington, and the British Columbia all saw the same thing, same time. Now, there was also that whatever it was that left, or at least they think, there was like an asteroid, a meteorite that was left in the debris field from something that was up in that area. This area has gotten a lot of activity lately. But, that's an area, too, that has a lot of Bigfoot activity. I think the state of Washington has the most sightings of any of the U.S. states. But British Columbia is well known as well. And it is interesting, too. Often you will have UFO activity being noted in spots when there's Bigfoot sightings, too. And you might not think that goes hand in hand, but I think, again, Bigfoot is there's more than one type of Bigfoot. But I would say that they're beings that have done what we're going to be doing shortly. In other words, ascending past the ability of the control system to control it by moving up in frequency. So when Bigfoot, again, is sometimes very physical, but then other times not, it's a being, in many cases, that know how to alter their frequency so that they can apparently, become invisible. It's kind of like a glamour, really, when you get down to it.
I don't think we're too far off of a Bigfoot either. I think we're much closer to Bigfoot than we think.
Yeah, and we did get in Mary Moore. Thank you so much, our dear friend there. We had gotten that Bigfoot was really an experiment, again, previous to us by the Anunnaki to control, to create a workforce. It wasn't as manageable as what they wanted, so they tried again. They've done a lot of that. When you look at the human family tree, you see so many different species of hominids on this planet. There's been dozens, and they all dead end at some point in time, besides us.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just feels like we're kind of at the end of our journey here. It feels like things are going to change very quickly, very soon.
Yeah, we are going into a much more different time. The Bigfoot cloaks themselves. Like, I have yet to see a Bigfoot in person with my own eyes, but I've seen footprints that I know were made by big feet around where we were and have been in Nevada, in Arkansas, in Louisiana, in North Carolina. I don't think I ever did in Florida, but in those states, yeah, absolutely. Solid evidence and, very, very different terrains.
Yeah, Jen says, well, what about dogmen? Very real, very real. Some that had escaped, those I picked up, they have been altered in a lot of ways, and there are some out there that are loose, and there's also some that are very highly trained, and it's fourth dimensional type of being, but also can exist on the 3D. So the dogmen feel very similar to Bigfoot, but they have a much more of an edge to them.
Yeah, one to be loved talks about mermaid lore too. Well, I really do think I saw something that was like that, but it was male. And that was in the beach off of Nokomis. Nokomis is just south of Sarasota, just north of Venice, and I fell asleep on like a floaty. I fell asleep on a floaty, and I felt something brush up against my hand. It was just, dragging in the water, and I looked, and I was like a football field away from shore, And I drifted way out, and it was like, oh, that was stupid. And then I looked and I saw what looked to be the torso of a man heading off in water that was deep. I mean, I was like 300 feet away from the shore. This water out there is deep, and it was like the torso was perfectly upright. So there's no way you could swim and be that way. So it hit me as really odd, and I really wonder if it bumped me just to say, hey, you're floating too far out.
Oh yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, that was really, really wild. Yeah, I used to go to the drum circles there all the time. Nokomis, Venice, Sarasota, they had drum circles. They were fabulous. Lots of fun. And they also had a lot of kirtans. There you go. Here we go. I guess 47 has, met somebody. Where's your leader? Is your leader coming?
Don't he's thinking, don't tell me this is the leader.
It can't be this guy. It can't be. Look at him. I mean, seriously. AI can be fun, can it not? I mean, this looks so realistic. Is it like it's crazy. It's kind of crazy how realistic it looks.
He's praying to his alien overlord that, oh my gosh, you didn't come to make me listen to this guy, did you?
That's the thing, though. They got us now with everybody is very, very used to AI. And now you can't really tell you got to feel into things, to distinguish if it's real or if it's just AI. We might see a lot of stuff that's real, and we're going to be thinking it's AI. I don't know if that's supposed to be a muscular Elon there. It looks way too real. Looking at these, the aliens' muscles are amazing. He must have some good protein up in space and, some gravity to keep those muscles going. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It really is. But this is the time that we live in. There's going to be a lot that's going to be laughed off, and people are just going to say, nope, that's just silly AI. And it's going to be right in front of your face. This is over in Vegas. And, of course, when you have Area 51, Groom Lake, you have Nellis Air Force Base. Now I guess they're calling it Creech. And yeah, the tall whites absolutely are there. There's grays there. There's reptilians there. There's all sorts of things there, as well as a lot of military hardware that they haven't shown us all the details of. But this looks like it could be something, making note and watching what's going on.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, there's just so much in the desert, and we've been out there and we've seen a lot of things. And right now, especially with everything that's going on in Area 51 with, disclosure just really bubbling up to the surface with so many scientists missing, with all of these weird deaths and all these, videos coming out. What's really about to happen? I just feel like there's just something about to burst.
Well, the other thing too, with all these AI ones doing this, it's kind of softening the blow for when you really see it.
Don't you think? Yeah, I definitely think that's for something for human consumption, just to kind of get us used to it. Even if you're not like actively looking for alien sightings and stuff, and you're just on X, and let's say you're in the system still, and you just see these and just go through your feed, hardy har har. It's funny until it's not, and until you find out that it's really true, and then you might have trouble swallowing your coffee, but at least you're not having a complete heart attack because you've at least seen it once or twice. So I think, yeah, this is definitely something to dampen the human reactivity aspect of all of this.
Yeah, I love that, Alice Muscular. And it is normalizing. It is absolutely, pretty wild. pretty well up to 15 scientists missing. I've seen some people even saying like 24 if you look even farther back. Now, this is in Miami, and what is it? Is it some sort of, look at it, it's like the light's going off in a circle. So is it something that's cloaked and circular and just has one light going on?
Again, another thing that I've seen in the desert a lot, and I've seen this going years and years and years back. One thing about the desert is there's not a lot of light pollution, so you can see a lot in the sky. And I always wondered about those that were so rapid. They blinked on and off so quickly, and I thought to myself for years, I thought, oh, it's just a satellite. That's what everyone would tell themselves, but with everything that's coming out of the woodwork now, that these are not satellites. These are something, they could very well be sending frequencies. That's kind of what I'm picking up, is that they're sending frequency over this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if not good, a frequency where would make people fight.
Oh, so this is probably, are these grays up there, do you think?
I think it's a controlling facet, some sort of controlling facet.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, this has always been an ultra-terrestrial affair, and there just came a time when they just decided to hide themselves, but I guess that time is over. This is talking about, this person says that they're 10 miles away from these lights. They float there for a while and eventually slowly lowered beyond the horizon, somewhere close to a U.S. Air Force base. I don't know where. It's hard to tell. But, again, there's a lot of unusual activity, UFO activity, UAP, around military bases, because a lot of our militaries are interacting with, again, ultra-terrestrials. This does look like it could be a bunch of cloaked ships, does it not?
It looks like it's a parking lot for cloaked ships. They must be there for some kind of convention.
That reminded me of Grants. Grants in New Mexico. We used to go to Grants or Gallup to do our shopping. Feels like Grants. But yeah, that really looks like it could be.
And Karmadaka is asking, why, when you look with binoculars or a telescope, do planets look the same as stars? That's a very, very, very fair question, and I've often asked myself similar. There's this one particular, I don't know if it's in the desert. I think it's kind of everywhere, but in the desert, in the winter time, there is a very large star, and it looks exactly like a disco ball until you get it under a microscope. Then it changes to something just even more like a kaleidoscope. But it is very interesting how it looks like one thing with my eye and then another thing with the telescope. But yeah, that's very interesting. And we've had so many family members send us pictures of orbs, and they might look at like an orb from a certain distance, but then when you zoom in, it looks much different.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Dan. Glad you made it. Oh, we're about 20 minutes in or so, I think. Yeah, it is interesting. And the fact that the lights look like you're underwater. That refraction.
Underwater, the refraction is cool. Yeah, like when you're in a pool, right, and like you dive underwater and you can see a lot of the refraction on the bottom of the pool. And it looks like that too. I think it says a lot about, what space really is. Yeah,
again, we do not believe that space is a vacuum. We think it's more like an ocean of sorts. I think life abounds, so this is one of the ways they try to hem us into these different groups and keep us separated. With the flat earthers and the dome, and then the dome would keep everything out, so there's no way it could be extraterrestrials here because the dome's there. But then again, think of the technology and who put the dome up in the first place. It's again a case where I think there's extraterrestrials. I am sure there's extraterrestrials, interdimensionals. There's all the above. And there's many beings here on planet Earth, too, that have, for the most part, hidden themselves, but we get glimpses from time to time.
Indeed.
Yeah, so these are really cool clouds. I mean, super cool.
I think they're at a convention. They're at a cloaking convention. Nobody can see it.
I swear that looks like Grants. It just reminds me of Grants. I'm not sure where that is. Oh, that's this California. Well, that makes sense. And then we have Tim Burkett.
Sworn testimony that there are recovered alien bodies. That is sworn testimony under oath, not in a secure setting, and nobody batted an eye, nobody laughed, and there's just kind of a gasp in the room that finally somebody said that. And it's come from so many different sources that we really need to get to the bottom of it. We've had testimony, I don't know testimony, we've been briefed before that, of locations of where some of this stuff is. A member of Congress, a close friend of mine, and I've read these books, how somebody will approach you and stuff. And we were in the tunnel, and just so happened there's no coincidences. And this guy said to me, he said, Tim, he said, why do you want to do this? Don't you know this is going to disrupt everything? We have sworn testimony.
Yeah, disrupt everything because, again, so much of it is, it's going to just change a lot of people's belief systems, and that, again, can be totally, totally disconcerting. It can throw people into a tizzy.
I think so. I especially those that are just very busy and they haven't had a minute to look around and see, even what's in the headlines. They're just completely busy. They're doing their thing. They're paying the bills, going to and from work, and they're trying to get that raise, and they're just not paying attention. I think those are the ones who are really, 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 it's going to hit them pretty hard, when you realize your whole world is based on what you thought was true, which is now a lie. So if you believed all that, well, what do you believe moving forward? Everything that you had learned sounded so believable, and the people you trusted that you learned from. I mean, this is a form of major trauma. This is going to be big trauma for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, again, this is a member of the House of Representatives, so he has been one of the ones that's been pushing disclosure. Flash floods leave one dead in San Antonio, Texas. Again, be really careful because sometimes the water is much deeper than you think. And right now, where you can get, 6 inches or more of rain all of a sudden, especially in a desert situation, it could be deadly. And unfortunately, it was in this case. And there you go. A lot of airline bankruptcies could be coming. So, again, you just lost an airline, Spirit. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I think it's so interesting that Cindy got back in 2020, and we've shared this with you guys so many times, that come 2035, we don't fly around planet Earth anymore. Nobody's flying typically around planet Earth, but we do know that's kind of part of that Agenda 2030 thing. They want to lock us down. And this is what we have going on. We've had all sorts of crashes and stuff, and now you got bankruptcies. Chances that certain companies can go bankrupt, JetBlue, greater than 75%. Frontier, 45 to 50% chance. Allegiant, 36.7%. American, 2.9 to 15%. And Alaska, less than 3%. So, there's going to be a consolidation going on with, again, the airline industries. They're moving to lock us down. We know this is, again, the beginning of another form of lockdown.
It is, and I think who did I saw? Someone says they heard the chirpies, the little baby birdies are back there having a good time. They're doing their scratch and peck thing. So I hope you don't mind too much. But yeah, I got that so long ago that we're not going to be seeing airplanes in the air, which is really problematic because so many families are not close together. I mean, my family is far away. I'm going to have to fly out to see them, and I'm not looking forward to any of this. So, the things that I do see, they disturb me. I mean, what really disturbing, to the point where a lot of times I don't want to see them. That's upsetting to think that I might not be able to fly out to see my family. So, but if you look at the trend, there's so many crashes, and there's so many lawsuits, and there's so many problems in the air right now. And there's so much talk about, it's your carbon footprint, and having all of these really rich elite people. They're the only ones who are going to be able to fly in their machines, Yeah, they'll have their private jets, and they're just going to let us be happy if we can get a drone drop off from Amazon.
Oh, it's going to be a VR vacation. Put on your VR headset, and that's going to be your vacation. Meanwhile, they'll still be jet setting all over the world. This is really what they have planned. Trump on Hormuz blockade. We are like pirates, and it's very profitable. Rare agreements with Iranian officials. President Trump has newly said the U.S. Navy is acting like pirates as he described an operation about seizing a ship amid ongoing blockade of Iranian ports. We land on top of it and we took over a ship. We took over the cargo. We took over the oil. It's a very profitable business. Well, that's basically stealing. That says all you really need to know right there.
Look at this. What do you think is going to happen to us when he is being such a bully? What happens to the schoolyard bully?
Well, again, it's a big setup. It's just part of the script. And we've talked about that so many times. So, yeah, when you talk about it, here we go. Now we're not only Babylon the Great, but we're pirates while we're at it. Well, I've described the Anunnaki as interdimensional intergalactic pirates. So, again, it's just kind of following suit with what humans have been taught from the ones that take credit for creating humans.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And yet again, we weren't created. The body was genetically altered by them, but that's not creating something. And again, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, there never was a time when you weren't. You always were. Your consciousness itself, and it can't be created or destroyed, but you can definitely take on different vehicles and experience reality from a different perspective.
Always, always, always. And we can start doing that now.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you have a former World Bank president sound the alarm, revealing that the Federal Reserve has lost over $1 trillion. Well, again, how much has Department of Defense lost? Many trillions. But when they say lost, it's just been money laundered. It's been stolen. But then again, look at the government. They're pirates. So thieves and more thieves. The Federal Reserve, they're thieves. The IRS, they're thieves. It's just they've turned it into legal lawlessness.
Yeah, and they definitely do not like any form of competition. They will take competition out.
Absolutely. He claims the Fed is borrowing money from banks at 5.4% interest and pouring it into government bonds, creating the illusion that the government's financial situation is better than it actually is. Yeah, of course. It's one big scheme. It's all a Ponzi scheme. And why do we have such inflation? It's because that's how the system is orchestrated, and that's what it is. The fiat currency just automatically comes with inflation. It's not based on anything, and as soon as people lose faith in it, it's going to be worthless. So again, I wish that there were some way more intelligent people than me that were putting together good alternatives to the monetary system. Just figure out ways that we could just get through with barter and exchange, yet do it maybe digitally or however we need to do it, because there's so many things that we all get that come from all different places around the world. So we can do things, barter and exchange with local people, but it gets more difficult when you're talking distance.
Well, it does, and I definitely want to do something like that. Unfortunately, when you get people together and they start working together, and the more and more people you get in there, there's always some asshat that has to come in and think that they're going to take charge. Well, they're the only fair one. Well, they're going to start inputting rules. And that's the difficulty of all of this. Humans were extremely messy and very imperfect, but I think the biggest problem is like somebody always feels like they have to be in charge, or they have to take over. And that's where we really fall short. And maybe if we start looking at our shortcomings close enough, we can find a solution for them. But it's that one person that always comes in and they think they have to set things straight for whatever reason, or they come in and they start taking advantage of people's good nature. And isn't that just the world that feels like we just live in a world like that, and people are almost predisposed to it, like the need to just always have more, or always be better than everybody else, or have more than everybody else, or just, just that take charge and I'm going to be better than you type of attitude, where we're all the same. We all come from the same source. We're basically wearing the same clothes. We're all the same. We're just a slightly different version of the person right next to us. And I think once we really realize that we're all the same, we come from the same thing, then maybe things will change. But we don't have that now. We have people who have to be separate, and they have to have a bigger bank account, and they have to have one up on somebody else, and there's competition, and there's I'm better than you. We have a long way to go, you guys. I think we're in the right direction doing what we're doing with the videos, and having you guys be in chat is very, very helpful in creating a world of change. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. We talked about this one already. When you look at it, there are some states that literally want to tax you on bartering. They really do. They want to tax you. And I remember seeing stuff where legislation was being put in to tax people if they did barter or even just exchange and swap things, because that's how parasitic these entities are. We realize that when you have the big C, if you take the approach that it's a parasite, you're going to probably do pretty good. Well, again, as above, so below, as within, so without. This system is completely parasitic. All of them, they're parasites. They truly are. They utilize ticks. They weaponize ticks, create them into superbugs with, again, so many different infections in these things. That's what they are. They're ticks and leeches. So, it's just that realization. And then you have that Gil Bates guy creating the first man-made synthetic bacteria. This title says that can destroy mankind. After 15 years and $40 million from Gil Bates, scientists have crossed the ultimate line. They created the first synthetic species of bacteria, entirely designed on a computer, with a synthetic chromosome built by humans, not nature. This says it's alive, it's self-replicating, it grows and makes copies of itself indefinitely. Venter called it first baby steps in biological revolution, where we can custom design and reprogram bacteria. DNA is the software of life. This is allegedly a foundational milestone, proving life can be engineered from scratch. Synthetic bacteria, of course, if it's anything coming out of that Gil Bates guy, it's not going to be anything used for good.
No, and you see these as well. And looking back at the ages, how many times has some sort of a plague been used to make a new start? Kind of wipe everything out and then start again, and then like they take the leftover, the remains, and kind of use that as a gene pool to start again. So I mean, here it is. It's in the news. It's been created. Why create it? Why create it if you have no plans on destroying the world? Why create it? And then why even take part in the creation of it? So you got to kind of think about these people's mindsets. It's like, okay, if somebody offered you $1 million because you're brilliant and you could create a pathogen that would kill all mankind, would you do it? I mean, what kind of karma? For me, I'd have to sit down and think of the karma and say no, but that's just me. But there's other people out there, like I said, they want money. They want to be above everyone else, and they need other people to be below them so that they can just control them and step on them. So yeah, they would do anything. And that's the world that we live in. And people can be so evil. It's just, it's kind of a yucky place to be, but that's where we're at.
I think, again, we're talking parasites. So when you think about what happens when people make the deal with the devil for stardom and fame, and then you look at people and you wonder, they don't even look the same. We were talking about Jim Carrey, if you've seen... we saw Charlize Theron in a movie recently. She looked very different. What was that other one? Angelina Jolie. I mean, she was looking at different gene possibilities and decided to just chop herself up, because she had, I forget if it was the MTHFR or the BRCA. She had something, but just decided to, go ahead and do things just because of possibility. But I think, again, these stars and politicians too, when they make a deal with the devil, so to speak, and they come in contact with these parasitic demonic entities, is the original soul gone? I was asking Cindy this. Do you think the original soul goes? Because I've heard people say that it does. And then it's really inhabited by a different entity, totally. We talk about bloodlines, and we've seen, obviously, many versions of, Biden. The real original Biden, I don't think ever really truly was president, because I think he was already gone. And when you look at all the different ones that they put up as being the same guy, and the same thing with Fetterman's and even Hillary's and Bill's and stuff. But is any of the original consciousness there, or like what Cindy was seeing, where it was like you're trapped in your body but you can't do anything? Literally, like with Gil Bates. Is the original Gil Bates there, or is it just like a Draco or a multiple Draco just operating that human shell?
Well, I know that that's very real because that was shown to me, and it was shown to me very clearly twice, what that looks like and what that feels like when the soul is in the body. It's there, but you have no control. All you can do is witness what your body is doing. You can witness what your limbs are doing. You can witness and hear what you are saying, but you have no say anymore. It's like something has happened to you. You've taken a back seat and you no longer have say. And that's the thing. So is that ongoing now with some of these entities that are doing these things, or is that to come with all of us being filled full of graphene oxide and then, having the frequencies get turned on and we're an automatic antenna? It was shown to me for a reason. It was disturbing for sure.
Yeah, Mark says astral travel gone. I wonder. I mean,
You can't get out of your body.
Is it that they are like, how you have that sleep paralysis type thing Well, are they under that? But now another entity is totally moving the body, operating the body, doing things with the body, and the original owner of the body can't do anything but just see everything that happens. That's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah, I think that is to come. I think it's already here, and I think it's to come. And, I think that's why detoxing is so important. You don't want the graphene to be telling you what to do.
Sin Havoc talking about the vril parasites. Yeah, the vril parasites. Gosh, boy, that really, there's a lot of resonance there. And the black goo, yeah, being a conductor, well, obviously with the nanotech and everything. Yeah, when, it's Britney Spears, that type of thing, is that sort of thing where, like, some of the original host is getting back up to the surface and just freaking out because they're like, I don't operate my own body anymore. There's something else here.
Yeah, Lily Blade says, split personality. I think that's definitely a thing. But in my experience, it wasn't just split personality. It's the soul. It was the self was completely in the back seat. It was there and it was watching and it was alive, but couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that is a very, very scary thought there. This is 1,000-year-old city that sank underneath a lake, and this is in Kyrgyzstan. And I think about this area, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, all these stands, and I think of Tartaria, and I also think of a lot of hidden stuff. There was a massive earthquake that literally sank this city like 1,000 years ago. It's down over 13 feet deep in this lake. So not really very, very deep, but it's like a memorial there. It's preserved. This whole thing went under, and it's kind of creepy to think about it. It's been under for 1,000 years. What other places, just sank in a day? We of course all know about Atlantis, and yet at the same time, there's other places too that have gone under. And how often does this happen? I do think there was massive catastrophe like around 1700 as well. There was some sort of great reset going on in that time period too.
Yeah, that would be so fun to go exploring and looking around and just feeling that in there.
Yeah, I mean, this would be really fun to go do some snorkeling or scuba and see it. Then we have a 4,000-year-old lost writing system that has finally been decoded, a modern Rosetta Stone breakthrough. This is linear Elamite, so it's 4,000 years old. Goes back to the time of the Sumerians and the time when the gods walked amongst us, yes. But anyway, maybe there will be some things that come out of this now being translated. Maybe we'll have a little more detail in some of the mythologies. There's still, the vast majority of the Sumerian tablets have not been translated yet. I think there's a lot of stuff that they don't really want coming out yet. But this is the time where everything is going to be revealed. Linear Elamite comprises 77 individual characters, including geometric patterns and various other shapes. It's very distinct. And there's others out there, too, that have not been translated yet. And then we got, again, a little more AI. Look at this, guys. Isn't this adorable? Oh, time to go. Good night, little people. Nighty-night. Back down into the hole.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, again, the magic of AI. Many humans in the Philippines? Maybe they're coming up from the inner earth now that my own is erupting. There's an awful lot of this going on, and people are talking about the little people, but the little people are real. Anybody that lives in Appalachia knows about the little people and other places too. I've literally heard them. I've never seen them, but I feel like I've heard them, like heard their footsteps around me when meditating out in the woods, and also back in my own garden in one of my homes.
Yeah, they're super cute.
Absolutely. These are fun times. There's a lot that's going to be revealed. Again, we wanted to bring up to everybody LifeWave. This is a company that we have chosen to affiliate with because we've been using the products for a while and noticed, definite increase in energy. Feel a lot more vitality flowing through. Seems like we're able to heal quicker and rebound quicker from various things. I had some pains that wouldn't go away, fascial pains from surgery that I had, that emergency appendectomy, closing in on a year ago now. And when I put the patches on, it went away. The pains that were there, the discomfort that was there for a long time, as soon as I put them on, it was gone in just literally a couple of days. And has not returned. So these are really cool technology. And again, it's nothing that's going to actually go into the body. It's utilizing the body's own light to trigger, in the case of the X39 patch, stem cells that were dormant to awaken.
They have been really good. Good, clean energy. I cannot emphasize that word enough. Clean energy.
And the link to our affiliate link is there on every video as well. So this is just part of our daily habit now. It's what we do. We put on the patches. And these guys, I think they're looking for Noah's Ark. Well, or Utnapishtim's Ark, maybe? Yeah, absolutely. This is quite a stare down.
I know. Isn't that cute? So I know the vultures are looking each direction. There's a hyena and a giraffe and like how many wildcats? Like four wildcats. 1, 2, lioness. Oh, a lion and a lioness. Yeah, they're at a standoff.
Yeah, the hyena says to the giraffe, I think we could get him. I think we could take him. Do you think so? Cindy's going to give us some dings. We're going to thank you guys for your support. Do check out LifeWave as well. Again, it's basically utilizing the body's own light. And PromoLife too. PromoLife, we do ozone every week as well, multiple times a week. Usually I'd say every other day we're using the ozone too, because again, oxygen. It's all about oxygen. In a different time, there was a lot more oxygen in the air that we're breathing, and we were healthier and we lived a lot longer. So, again, this is part of what's being uncovered. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my own thoughts, words, acts, and deeds contribute to the happiness and the freedom for all.
Okay, you guys, you know what to do. Find a happy place, and here comes our dings. And thank you so much, Miss Mary Moore, and Running the Gauntlet. We appreciate you guys and your support. Source bless and namaste.
Much love, guys. Namaste.